Hi everybody, welcome back to Stop.Sit.Surrogate. It's been a while.
Yeah,
But we are here today. This is Kennedy and Ellen, and we are here today with our friend Grace. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Grace. I'm a longtime friend of the pod at this point in time.
yes, you are.
And I am a two-time surrogate, and I'm about to wrap up my second journey here in just about 2 weeks. It's a sibling journey. So I'm delivering my first surrogate baby. She turns 3 on Friday,
Wow.
and just in time for this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be giving her the gift of a baby brother in a couple weeks.
Oh, so
So sweet. Is she
sweet.
excited?
She is excited. I have heard that they were trying not to tell too many people, but she started telling like everybody on the elevator, we're
Oh,
gonna go to the US and we're gonna get my baby brother out of Grace's belly.
oh my
Like,
gosh.
okay, cool.
That's adorable.
How sweet.
Sorry.
And you get to like hang out with her. I envy
Fun.
you. I've never been able to like hang out with my Suro babes after they've parted me.
It's literally the thing I'm most excited about is
I
being able
know.
to give her this baby and then spend time with her as like a human.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like full talking sentences and like
Yeah.
personality and everything.
Yeah, I don't know how much English she speaks yet. I know
Oh,
they've been working on that. I feel like this will be like an immersion lesson for her.
That's oh, that'll be
it'll
fun.
be so much fun. Good for
Oh,
you.
I'm excited for you.
Yes.
Well, today's Friday Facts is about intimacy and partner relationships in a journey
Yeah.
because we all know that sometimes they can have restrictions, like straight
A lot of
up
times.
in your
Mhm.
contract or from the clinic, or if you're on bed rest, like pelvic rest, all these things. So, I mean, first I'll just ask, have and have any of us been told like, nope, you gotta stay
Abstinent.
hmm
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah, each of my contracts, it's been in there for the first, it's like when you start meds, I think.
Hmm.
hmm
You start meds up until the pregnancy test, like the beta test to
The
confirm.
beta test.
like
Okay.
6 to like 8 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Roughly. Yeah. Mom, are you the same?
So as soon as we found out there were three, because the beta we knew the blood test was high, so we kind of knew there was going to be at least two. At when we went in and found out there were three, that was it. No more.
For the
I was on
whole pregnancy?
full pregnancy. Yeah,
Were
pelvic
you
rest.
on
I was not bed
restriction
rest.
before that?
One more time.
Were you on restriction before you did your beta?
See, this is like 20 years ago. No, no. But I don't think we engaged just because I felt so crappy. You know?
Well,
Yeah,
and the first journey, you straight up told dad that, like, no, this not allowed for the whole like 10
right.
months. You were like, nope, not a thing.
Yeah. But that was never written.
I know.
I just didn't want anything to go wrong. It was my first time, right? I was being that little sheep. I didn't want anything to go wrong. But
Did
Yeah.
the
you
triplet
tell
one,
him it was written?
yeah, I did. I know. Bad me. And then the triplet one, it was written afterwards. So they amended. Okay. Because we didn't know if we were gonna reduce one. We didn't know. So we just didn't want anything.
Yeah.
And hell,
Yeah,
I felt like I was 6 months pregnant at like 7 or 8 weeks. It was ridiculous. It was huge. It was
sure.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have never been in a
Never.
relationship until now. So, but there was not restriction, but we were like, nah, because like I was like, I've never been in a relationship while doing this. Like, no thanks. I don't, like, you just hear the horror stories. So I'm like, I don't want to like get, 9 months down the line and then it not be hers.
Oh, oh.
Well, that's a fear. You
Yeah.
hear the horror stories of people who don't like,
Since it's a Friday facts, should we talk about the facts of why normally they put it in there in a contract, at least for
yeah,
that first period of time?
yeah.
Okay.
You could. Yeah, no, I think that would be great. Like, well, so one would be for medication, right? Like we could start at like the beginning. So like during meds, it's they put it in there that you stay abstinent,
Mhm.
um, so that you don't have sex. Let's just put it that way, right?
Yeah.
Because you're on so many hormones and it could potentially what give you like an extra boost to like for your own fertility.
Yeah, I've heard that, some of everybody's protocol is different, but some people are on a protocol that causes you to not ovulate, and then some people ovulate through that medication anyway, and
Interesting.
then some could be triggering you to ovulate.
Hmm. That's interesting.
They're just being safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the partners realize that that's a thing going into this. Like, why? Why would that be a thing? Like that would have to be written into a contract. So there's education needed on the partner's part as
Right.
well. And I just think
Hmm.
partners are way more involved now than they were way back when.
Yeah. No,
Way
yeah,
more.
for sure. And like I actually know people though that don't even have it in their contract,
Oh,
which shocks the heck out of me. Their clinic is like, "No, you're good. Like you don't need to you
Okay.
you be free."
my clinic had it in there. It was in my clinic guidelines and then also in the contract that we would abstain until after the beta because of the uterine contractions that you can
Right.
have, like specifically if you
Hmm.
had uterine contractions after transfer that could impede on the implantation of the embryo.
Hmm.
Interesting.
I've heard
Okay.
of that too.
Huh.
So
Hmm.
lots of reasons that it's
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. And then if you are pregnant with multiples, I don't know if it would be the same for twins, but clearly for triplets, right, Mom?
Yeah. It wasn't for the when I was pregnant with the twins, it wasn't written in there at all.
Oh, interesting. But for the triplets, they were like, yeah, no, we're gonna be safe.
Right. Right. I was like the second triplet pregnancy of all the agencies in 22 years ago. Like it wasn't a big thing. Like twins were kind of common, but like the triplet ones, they were just like, this is uncharted. We don't know what to do.
Yeah,
So they just kind of stopped everything. Just
sure.
take it easy. And I felt that same way too. I didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want
Yeah,
anything to happen. Yeah.
yeah. And
It's hard.
then bed rest or even
Pelvic rest.
what's it called? I've never been put on this
Pelvic rest.
pelvic
Pelvic rest.
rest
Mhm.
because it's not entirely bed rest. That's just I don't
Right.
even know like what do you do when you're on pelvic rest? You sit? Like
Well, I think that it just means like anything that could disturb
Region.
the peacefulness of the pelvis, like no
yeah.
heavy lifting, no like certain kinds of exercise,
Hmm.
and then no intercourse. And I know that conditions like placenta previa or like a compromised cervix, things like that, they want you to be on pelvic rest so that you're not continuing to cause anything that could make the baby come early.
Right.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
100%.
I do understand that. Yeah, and then like okay, so
So how do partners feel about that?
right. I don't know.
Like,
You guys tell me.
well, yeah, mine wasn't very happy.
My husband has always been very understanding. And I will say this time, the restrictions have been the same for me with each of the surrogate pregnancies I've had. So I have had three surrogate pregnancies, but the last one was a loss at 16 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was equally precautious with the first two, just like even though we had been in the clear and had the approval to live our life as we pleased, in and out of the bedroom. I waited because I just wanted to make sure like, oh, everything's okay, or we took it really easy. But this last time or the current time that I'm pregnant, I was extremely hesitant and scared. I didn't want anything. I think kind of like you said, I just didn't want anything to disrupt what was happening. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't want it to be anything that I did if there were any complications or problems. And I know that that's so unlikely, but I was so extremely cautious with everything this time, including intimacy with my husband. I wanted to make sure that we did all we could. Like even with my prenatal vitamins, I have never been so good with my prenatals. I have missed 0 days.
Oh my gosh, you
I
go,
just
girl.
I'm very careful. So
Oh.
my poor husband, like he's been very patient, but
Yeah.
it's been like a handful of times this pregnancy.
Mhm.
Okay.
But Grace, if I were you, I would be doing the same thing because
Yeah.
I would just like my overthinking and my paranoia would be like, no, like if watch if I do something, then it's a paranoia at that point. But
Yeah.
he's been understanding and accepting of it. Like
Oh
there
yeah.
hasn't been like a fight.
Oh,
Oh
good.
no.
Oh, good. I know that's not the case with you, Elle.
Well, a long time ago too. I mean, it was, yeah. And we
Oh,
did
is
like
there a
three in
story?
we did 3 in 5 years, like three surrogate births in 5 years. That's a lot, a lot. One was triplets, the other was those twins, and then a single. Like medications, pregnant, birth, all of it in a span 3 times in 5 years. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Uh-huh. And to be abstinent for like almost a year of one of it, right? And then I'm recovering afterwards, and you have to wait pretty much 6 weeks till you go for postpartum, 8 weeks for C-section
Season.
till you get cleared, right? So
Yeah.
that added on more.
Mm.
And then I'm right back in doing it again. So I don't think either one of us realized that we did that many in that short amount of time. But I was going to age out because I started late.
Right.
And it was important for me for various reasons, and we've talked about those before, to do the three I did. This is all three of them. Yeah. So
Did, did you ladies know that going into surrogacy that it could affect like your intimate relationships? Like, did you know that going in, or like did somebody warn you before contracts? Like, was it ever a discussion?
When it comes to actual like physical contact, I don't think that I was forewarned in any way, but even just the fact that you have a psych screening in the beginning
Mhm.
makes you think about like, oh, how can this impact our emotional relationship and how we feel about each other and I know that's why they ask a lot of questions even before you go into the process about your support system, whether that's your partner or otherwise.
Mhm.
So I had some insight as to where the emotional support or relationship could have some challenges, but the physical one, I think there's just so many variables that can come up that it's hard to get forewarned about some of those things. And then probably some they just take under assumption that you understand because you've been pregnant before.
Right.
right.
Right. But some pride, and like that's the
Yeah.
crazy thing, right? Because I would say the majority of surrogates who go in to surrogacy, like for their first time after having their own children, like we all normally do it because we like it, it's easy, it's, breezy, like we've had great pregnancies. So that's such like an interesting assumption that they end up do having is like, oh, you guys are aware. And it's like, but everything was so beautiful. What do you mean that like bed rest is a thing? I don't under like, like just all these interesting little hiccups that could happen.
Yeah.
Hmm. And you were never talked about it, Mom. Like you
Mm-mm.
were never.
Nope. The only time it was addressed was when we got pregnant with the triplets.
And that
That
was by your doctor?
that was by my high risk fertility doc, my high risk OB doctor. Excuse me.
Okay.
That was by him. Yep.
Very interesting.
And then like after, yeah, it was over a year. It was over a year for that one. Had to,
Mm,
yeah, it was because of the recovery portion of it. Right.
right.
Yep. And that was eight
Right.
weeks because it was a C-section. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, I don't know. I had some complications there. So like I wasn't even in the mood to do any of that.
For
Like,
sure. No, for
yeah.
sure.
But the partner,
Yeah.
they're not pregnant.
Right. They're not going
They're
through the same
still have
motions.
their hormones, they still want that closeness, that intimacy. So you just have to find other ways,
Yeah.
really, you
I
know.
will say this has been, aside from the hesitation around like being super cautious, this time I have just been so uncomfortable the whole time. Like I've had my fortress of pillows, as I call it, in my bed the whole time. I saw I saw like a TikTok or a reel or a meme or something the other day, and it said like this is how I tell my partner when it's the night. And
Oh,
she like pulled back half of her pregnancy pillow because she had one of the U-shaped
oh
ones.
my gosh, how
So it
funny.
leaves the side open. And that made me think of me because like I sleep
Mm.
in my little U-shaped pillow every night. I have for over
Oh,
20 weeks at this point.
Oh my gosh.
And I've got like all the pillows and then the dogs are in the bed
oh,
and
Oh,
there's even been like half the nights where I just go sleep in the other room because it's to me it's easier than having to fight with the other things happening in the bed and I just go sleep by myself. But I've been super uncomfortable. It was so hot this year where we live, like so many days over
so
100 degrees and I'm
fun.
hot and sweaty and then I feel like I don't know what's different about my body this time, but it has been the most uncomfortable of any pregnancy that I've
Oh,
had. And I don't know if like this is a podcast about surrogacy and pregnancy, obviously. So hopefully this isn't happening to everyone, but I've had the worst hemorrhoids this pregnancy
oh
of
no.
any previous one. And I'm like, I don't feel attractive in any way
Did
right
did you get hemorrhoids with all pregnancies, or is it just this one?
now. This one has definitely been the worst. Like if I had them before, I probably didn't even notice.
Okay. Oh,
And I don't really know why that is. I will say when I again, this isn't glamorous, but just something that maybe people should know.
yeah.
When I had my DNE after the last pregnancy, I came out of surgery with hemorrhoids and was like, oh, where did these come from? What happened while I was in there?
Weird.
Because I was out and then I wook up and I had a situation.
That's so
Wow, that
interesting.
is weird.
So I want to say it was my last one. I think it was my was it my last? Yeah, I think it was my last one that I had hemorrhoids. That was like the first time, might have been my second one. Shoot, I don't remember. But I did have them and I was like, what in the world? Like this is so interesting. Like, and my doctor was like, oh, it's just because of like there's like pressure like
Yeah.
within
There.
you. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. And like it's just it doesn't make sense. But yeah, like and I was never forewarned about any of this. Like I didn't know that like hemorrhoids were like a thing until I got them. And now I'm like paranoid because once you get them, good luck.
Yeah.
My doctor was like, good luck ever getting rid of them for good. I'm like,
Oh,
what in
that's
the
so
world?
nice of your doctor.
I
Right?
know, I'm like, that's not very nice. Like,
And then the more subsequent pregnancies you do, the weaker it is in that area. Even though we do the Kegels and we do all the pelvic therapy and all that, it's still weak. And so even just what may have affected you in the first pregnancy with pressure and you didn't get hemorrhoids in a third or fourth, you're going to get them because it's just,
It's exacerbated.
yeah,
love
exactly.
it.
That's a
Looking
good
forward
word.
to it.
Good word. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Those
it's
tucks can be your friends on a pad, man. Just stick them right there and put them in your underwear. Like
what are they?
they're tucks. They're
Tux
little
pads.
tux pads. They're medicated and they're cool. And you just line them up like on a pad and you put the pad in your underwear and you just pull your underwear up and just like, oh, soothing. Yeah,
Like
super
Are
the
they
way
soothing.
you
a pod?
put cucumbers on a sub sandwich.
There you go. There you go. That's
It's
exactly right. You kind of
funny.
layer them. Uh-huh.
Wow, we
Yeah.
should do a podcast just on like little tips and tricks.
No,
I
the new well, it's not new, but the Freedom Mom company, I love that they've like incorporated all those things into their new products.
Really? I
Mhm.
have seen them kind of like roaming around on social media and stuff. So you're
What are they
you
called?
Freedom Mom.
Freedom Mom. Okay.
Hmm.
They make baby stuff too, but they have like very innovative things. I just
Nice.
bought their disposable bamboo fiber postpartum underwear for
Oh,
a hospital
Really?
bag.
oh my gosh, you'll have to tell me how that works because people, I like, I always just like do, I always like make my own diaper, right? Like I just like do the pads and all that kind of stuff. But people are like, no, do the underwear. It's easier. And I'm like, is it? I feel like it would be more, excuse me, but I feel like it would be more messy. Like, I don't know. But so let me know. Because if it
I
holds
did the
everything.
underwear last time. It's just like they're just briefs, but
Okay.
I like that you can
Oh,
throw them away and they're more comfortable than like the hospital mesh underwear that they give you.
Yeah.
sure.
Um, but they do make like I don't need them because I'm not having a vaginal birth, but they make like pads. They're pads, but you put them in the freezer and they have witch hazel in them, just like the Tux pads do. So you put them in the freezer and then you put them in your underwear and they've got witch hazel and they're cold. And I've heard it's
Nice.
amazing. I'm grateful I don't need them, but
Right.
it's
Oh
cool
my
that they have
gosh.
them.
That is
That is
cool.
cool to have them.
Really
Yeah. Had
cool.
none of that stuff. None of that. I just had the tux pads. That's all we had.
And all of that stuff is amazing, but none of it is sexy.
No, for
No, but
sure.
pregnancy, I would say like the second trimester of pregnancy for anybody, that's probably when you feel if you're gonna feel good in a pregnancy, that's it. And then like, you know what? It's a beautiful thing. No one ever said it was sexy. They said it's beautiful.
Yep.
And it sucks because like nothing fits right. Like you don't like and if you do find the thing that fits right, then it's like, this is all I want to wear. But like,
Mm.
yeah, it becomes definitely, I would say it takes a mental toll, I'm sure, when it comes to also being like, because it's not your, how am I trying to, like, it's not our baby. So I'm personally interested because I've actually never had a baby with my partner. So I'm personally interested to see how this whole process is going to go and how he looks at me
Sure.
during this versus how he looks at me during a pregnancy of our
Right.
own because I don't know. I don't know how like Grace, like your husband looks at you, I'm assuming the same, like you're still Grace, right?
Yeah, and I will say like, because I have had babies with my husband and then I've had other people's babies while with
Yeah.
my husband. He's while we were pregnant with our own, he was always, so excited and happy and grateful that I'm carrying our child. And then this time it's still similar, but he has a lot of pride in what I'm doing. And that
Oh,
still makes me
that's,
feel good and supported the way that the
that's very
pride of
sweet.
carrying our child was before.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
love
very sweet.
that.
We need to get some husbands on here, some
I
partners on
know.
here,
I
and have
know. We
them.
say it all the time. We
We
have to
do,
do it.
but
I know.
I don't know why they don't want to come on. I don't know. We'll figure it
It's not
out.
that they don't want to, it's just we haven't asked them.
Oh, you
Yeah, I was
haven't?
going to be like, I'm
Oh,
sure that if I asked my husband, he would be more than happy
Oh my
to
gosh.
join.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun. And then,
I do too.
get
Come
their
on.
perspective on it all.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we typically really only see it from our own. I mean,
Yeah.
the
And
more
things
emotional we
guided
are,
towards, yeah,
the more
sorry.
emotional we are, the more they're just walking on eggshells and just like, okay, we're not going to upset the balance. We're just going to, make her happy.
Yeah.
We don't know we're crazy, hormonal, raging people sometimes. We don't know that. We think we're fine.
Yeah.
I remember last time I was pregnant, or when I delivered our first surrogate baby, and I had like the big hormone drop at like day 5, and I was crying about everything. And I looked at my husband and I think we were just picking up my daughter from a friend's house and I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm crying. I don't really
Oh,
have a reason. And he's like, do you ever have a reason?
oh,
And I said, yes, I do, just not today. And so he hasn't made a comment like that this time, but it's been kind of the same. Like he's just very understanding and patient. Like, okay, you're crying. Like, is there anything I can do to support you?
oh,
Um, yeah.
it's
I
very
love
sweet.
that. Very, very sweet. Very
It
sweet.
is.
We love the sweet supporting
We do.
partners.
We do because this is a journey of everyone, the whole family. It's not
Mhm.
just the surrogate. It's not.
Yeah.
And I went in thinking it was just the surrogate. Like, oh, it's not going to affect anybody in my family. Oh, hell yeah, it did. And big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It affected
Well,
me, Mom.
well, it affected you in a good way, I
It
think.
affected me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, okay, so aside from like the intimate part of it with partners in a journey, like the just like the daily or the long term, the emotional, the mental, like it does it take a toll? Look at me.
Mm.
I give me advice, you guys. I've never been with someone while in a journey.
Well, if you're getting something out of this, then I'm sure other people are as well.
Yeah.
True. This is
Well,
true.
I like the fact that I mean, we had to ask for it. It had to be written that we could get housekeeping. Our doctors had to say, hey, she needs to be on limited like work duty at home. At home, she just need, and that's how we used to get our housekeeping. It wasn't just something put in there, hey, when you're 20 weeks, it happens. And it wasn't that way. So with the triplets, I actually had to ask for it. Like, can I have that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And needed a note from my doctor. Like it was just this big silly thing. And I'm like, hello, no. So I think what I'm trying to say is if I didn't have that, I still would have felt like I have to keep the household up because I know how it runs.
Right.
And that probably would have thrown me into labor quicker. So I
Yeah.
think now they actually write it in to you guys, even if it's just one baby, like one baby's still a lot to carry and to have to do all your household chores and keep the house running. So for that, I'm very grateful for all of you guys to be able to get that, but it wasn't something that was just given. You had to like
I
get Moxie.
I declined the housekeeping. I did the last time like under our first contract, I was in a different house and I was self-conscious of my house and I did not want someone to come in and clean it. And so I asked them to leave it out of the contract. And then going into our sibling journey, I really was trying not to cost the parents more than I had cost the first time. And
Oh,
so I declined the housekeeping this time. And now I have a bigger house. And that is like have if I could name a regret from the contract,
yeah.
that would really be one of them because I have actually had to step up my house cleaning because I've had a house cleaner that comes and does like deep cleaning a couple
Okay.
times a month. Like I feel very grateful and privileged. I've never had to clean my own bathrooms here. But I need help with like the regular things, like the laundry and just like you said, the daily maintenance of the house. And I've had to rely on my husband a little bit more for that than I normally would. Like normally I take care of all those things, like you said, and
Yeah.
I know how it should go and what it should look like. And
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
had to ask him to step it up and that if it's not something I think that you are normally asking for, it can put a strain on that when they like I feel like a nag. And then
Oh,
if I feel like I'm asking like a nag, then it's not a good feeling for either one of us. I actually I couldn't sleep the other night and my in-laws were coming and I was ruminating on all these like little things that I needed done around the house. And I ended up sending my husband a shared note on my iPhone at like 12:30 in the morning so I could put my mind to rest. And then I forgot about it in the morning and he's like, "Oh, I'll get right on that list you sent me."
oh,
I was like, "Oh yeah, that. I'm
that's
sorry. I meant
so
to ask you, can you please
oh,
help me with these things?"
oh.
So sweet though that
That's
he
very
was like,
sweet.
I'll do
But
it.
his parents were the ones that were coming too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he could share a little bit of that. But yeah, but that like takes more out of their day. And then me, because I'm such an A-type personality, like even when a house cleaner would come in, they wouldn't do it how I wanted it done.
Mhm.
And I had very much anxiety about that. Yeah, a lot. So I would just kind of like sit in the room they were cleaning and just like tell them as we go. And I hated doing it. I hated doing it.
You're one of
But
those. You're the
mm,
worst.
I am one of those. And the reason I would just sit though, because all the pictures that would come down, they would just put them back where they wanted. And then I'd have to go and stress out and try to put them back where they're supposed to belong. So I just directed while they were here. They only came once a week. Relax. It's fine. We got to be friends. It's okay. Yeah,
Friends.
we were. I actually kept her after the pregnancy for a couple of just to get me back into the swing. Yeah. Actually kept her
Wow.
and just paid for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a lot.
Interesting.
It's a lot of stuff. You're still doing laundry for your whole family. You're still trying to do the meals. Like I remember there's this one I saw an interview where she got it now. Most of us work full time, but she got a part-time job, and all the money she did from that, she had like a food service for months afterwards that would bring in meals for their family. I'm like, what? Yeah.
I've heard of some IPs actually providing that near the end, like, or if people are on, or like if surrogates are on bed rest, then they're
Okay.
just like, here we're sending you like a HelloFresh or
Oh,
something
nice.
like that because it was
That's super
unforeseen.
nice.
That is
Yeah, I know.
nice.
I'm like, wow, so lovely.
Because
Yeah.
your whole family has to eat, not just you, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying this is like, oh, stereotypical role for the woman, because I know a lot of households where the men cook, but
Dreams.
typically, we're buying the food, we're, cooking the food. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a
If I
lot.
were to go down, I don't know how my family would eat. They would just eat cereal and like rice cakes and donuts. That'd be it.
Wow. Okay.
We did
It's,
get HelloFresh recently,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the first few weeks we were making it together, and that's been a really nice activity
That's
for
mhm.
my husband and I to do together. But
yeah.
the last like week and a half, like I said, we're so close to the end, and I'm
Mhm.
just so tired and uncomfortable.
Oh,
He's been making it anyway, even if I don't want to, which is super nice of him.
That's so nice.
yeah.
And it's so easy. It comes, we do Hungry Root, and so it's supposedly it's very similar to HelloFresh, and they give you the recipes with the food and makes life so easy.
That is nice. One less thing to think about.
Yeah.
I will
Mhm.
say something that was a bit of a strain for us, like not like in a major way, but
Yeah.
something that we had to contend with in an emotional relationship capacity this pregnancy was with having had the loss this last time,
Mhm.
my caution around a lot of things was difficult for my husband to wrap his head around and to work through with me. And it took a lot of like reasoning on my end on why I wanted to take these precautions, not physical ones, but even just mental ones. Like, for example, in previous pregnancies, the compensation is amazing. And so we would make plans like, oh, what could we do with the money this time that would benefit our family in the long run, or that would help us, he calls it level up. Like, how could we level up a little bit with some of
Cute.
these things?
Video gamer.
Yeah, totally.
Cute.
And I refused to talk about it this time for a very
Oh,
long time. Like he would ask, maybe we should plan to do this around this month. And I said, I absolutely will not bank on any of that because it feels like I'm putting pressure on the pregnancy because we want to do that thing. And so I
Yeah.
refused to talk about any of that. Um, Even things that like he's very supportive of, you are doing this thing. If there is something that you want to spend money on for you, you should do it at this point. And I said, no, I want us to make it to the points. I want us to get to the milestones before I'll consider anything. Like my goal here is a healthy, happy baby, amazing journey. Like the money is great, but that's like secondary to us getting through this and us all getting what we came here to do, which is to create another member of this family.
Yeah.
And so that was really hard. And even just for me personally, I didn't even want to talk about why I didn't want to talk about it because to me, saying some of those things out loud makes it feel like I'm not, I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious.
There you
And,
go.
but just saying it out loud would make me feel like I'm opening up the karma door that could happen because I even
yeah.
said something about
Wow.
it. So that was hard for him to understand in the beginning. I think it was like around week 9 or 10 that I really just like laid it all out. And I will say he's been so nice to not really ask me about it or push me on it again.
Yeah.
But I think just if if it's not their body that's going through those things,
Mhm.
it's hard for them to understand.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure. I think some they have some knowledge, but right, like they're not in it. Like they're to the side of it. And
And
so,
and if they've seen you be pregnant before and do it, whether it be your own or with a surrogate baby, You've done this before. You've got this. You're great.
Right.
Like that's the praise we're getting. That's the okay, but wait, that's not how I'm feeling inside.
Mhm.
I'm stepping on eggshells this whole time because I got to get to a certain week and I gotta, yeah, hit those milestones. It's a lot of pressure, but a lot of times we keep that in. We keep a lot of it inside, put that little happy face on. Go, hey, yep, we're good. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Their
Yep.
optimism is nice though. Somebody's got
Yeah.
to be optimistic.
Yeah.
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 True. That's just a lot. That just seems like pressure on you, Grace. Did you feel that like pressure or
I
just
I don't think that it was intentional in any way. And like I said,
Yeah.
I was because I didn't even want to speak about why I
yeah,
didn't want to speak about it.
yeah,
I'm sure that it made it hard for him to comprehend. But like I said, once he understood
yeah.
more, he's very understanding. Even the most common question I get from anybody this time is this your last one? Are you going to do it again? Do you want to do it again? And and I know that it's my last one. I have such a hard time saying that, but I don't want to say that so many times. Like I said, I feel like it opens up the karma door.
Yeah.
And so I have been answering it with I'm not sure.
There you go.
Sure if this is my last time. And my my father-in-law's wife, like I said, they were just recently here and she asked if it's my last one and I said I'm not sure and I guess it was a question she raised of my husband later like, "Oh, she says she's going to do it again or she might do it again." And my husband was like, "You know what? She just really wants to stay positive this time and isn't going to talk about another time." And I'm
Good
sure
for
that's where that's coming from. So it
Yeah.
was really nice for him to stand up for me with that and
yes.
explain on my behalf why I
Yes.
Yes.
didn't say, oh, yeah, that's the last one.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Oh,
he understands.
Yeah.
yeah. He sounds like a great guy.
Can
Seriously.
I ask the both of you, because both of you have been through this. You both have been through a loss. So did that take a toll on your relationships?
Um, I can go first, I guess. I
Sure.
didn't even ask, sorry.
Oh, go
You're
ahead.
good.
Uh, I will say no. I
Okay.
don't think that it did. My husband took the best care of me. He was in between jobs at that time, which was also emotionally difficult for both of us, but really like it was a blessing because he was able to be there for me and do all the things and he took such amazing care of me. And I think that that's somewhere where I think we have to understand as the partner too that, and Ellen, I'm sure you can speak to this as well, like they have to watch us go through some of these things and be a strong partner, but it may not be easy to watch. Like when they sent me in for my D&E, I had to sign off that I understood I might not come out of it with a uterus. And I
Right.
was really, really scared about that. And so for him to watch me go into surgery, he told me later that was really scary. And they talked about how I could hemorrhage because they thought that I might have a placenta issue, like a
Right.
placenta accreta is what they were worried about, which can cause hemorrhage and
Yeah.
potentially death. So he
Yes.
said that he was really scared to watch me go in there and he was so supportive and strong, but um so to for the short answer, no, I don't think that was hard for our relationship or caused a strain or anything, but it's a lot to go through for anybody, whether you're single or in a relationship. And then it does affect both of you. Like I know
Mm,
I was in a super sad and confused state for a while after that, and it's
yes.
something that we had to go through together.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I've just two little stories. The one was when I had the first surrogate baby, and my placenta stuck and it didn't release. And they knocked me out. I had no idea what was happening. Like I was out. Um, and I went into surgery. And another doctor put his hand up and just no instruments and just pulled all of the placenta out. Now, I don't know why we talked about this before I went into labor with that baby, but we did. And I said, listen, if there's ever a point where I'm going to be going in for some type of surgery and they could possibly take my organs, you fight like hell to keep them. I don't want to lose them. And and after that was done, I woke up in the recovery room and he's sitting right there at the bed. And I said, did I lose anything? And he said, no. And he started to cry. I don't see my husband cry a lot. And he said, but I had to sign it that they could take it.
Oh, he signed it.
Mhm. He said they wouldn't do the surgery unless he signed it. And he said, and your life was more important than your parts right now. And I said, I got it. I understand. Um, but yeah, he had to sign. So luckily that was fine. The loss that I experienced, it was twins and I lost one. So I had the other baby in still. What?
You lost two, and then you lost one. We don't ever talk about that, by the way. You
No, we
lost
don't. You're
two,
right.
and then you lost
You're
one.
right. We never talk about that one.
Yeah.
It was for the same family. You're
I,
right. You're right. Yeah, because that one was so soon. It was like 9 weeks
hmm
and then just no heartbeats, right? So I just kind of thought, well, all right. And then this where I had the twins for them, we got pregnant again, and the one just stopped at 15 weeks. He was
hmm
15 weeks. And to have the other one, he was baby A and baby B was the little girl. So if baby A decided to let go, baby B could have came right with him and I could have lost both, right? And that's what my doctors kept telling me. Watch what you're doing because I'm like, oh my God. And so I'm on pins and needles the entire rest of those weeks, right? Till we get to
Yeah.
full term with her. Um, and the fact that the couple blamed me for that loss, that is, I think, where made our marriage even stronger because I've never seen, yes, he sticks up for me, but boy, oh boy, that was like the lion protecting the young. It was, oh, yeah. When they yelled and screamed at me, and he immediately just in front of me and went toe to toe with them, with the one dad. The one dad was there, the other one wasn't. And as much as that, yes, made me feel, oh my gosh, he's really sticking up for me. He's got my back. He's to be blamed for that by the parents when you're trying to carry this baby or babies for them. It was a very psychological blow for me. I doubted. The rest of that pregnancy was the birth was nothing we could enjoy. Yeah, we didn't speak. The couple and I didn't speak after that, which was sad.
hmm
Very, very sad. So that was an emotional toll, but I will have to say it didn't affect our relationship. It bonded us and made us stronger, both of those situations. Because you got to pick your partner, you got to pick them right, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because stuff can go bad.
For sure.
Mhm. Scary.
Yeah.
We all just think pregnancy, oh yeah, we get pregnant, this is great, blah, blah, blah. But
But you know,
there's a lot of scary things that can happen in pregnancy. There really are.
it's like a roll of the dice, and like it'll always land on something else. Like so, there's always something new. I'm not saying it's always going to be like
No,
something drastic, but there's always going to be something new and different
for
in
sure.
each pregnancy. Like it's just,
You're right.
it is what it is.
And the fact that you said there was a loss of the first, I have totally put that out of my mind.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one a lot.
That's some crazy yeah, okay, there we go.
hmm
Oh well,
Ellen, we're gonna make you talk about that more.
we're not. It's not necessary. But that's interesting. Very interesting. But yeah.
Even just parts of birth, like I've only had C-sections, so my
Oh,
husband's gotten to be with me for each of the C-sections. But the first two, he's holding our baby and we're looking at our baby and
mhm.
enjoying those first few moments with our children. And this last time, it was just the two of us, and I had to kind of forewarn him of some of the things that he was going to have to observe. And the one that sticks out the most to me is when they come in and they rub your belly and are trying to make sure your uterus is contracting down so you don't bleed.
Eat that, yeah.
And he hadn't really had to witness that before because we had the baby for that part. So I was
Right.
like, they're going to come in, they're going to rub my belly, and it is going to hurt really bad. And you're going to have to watch me go through that.
Oh,
So he
oh my
was
gosh.
he was prepared and he held my hand
Oh,
each time
great.
I came in. He was really great about it. But I think that was something different that as a partner he had to observe this time. And then
Yeah.
now we know what to expect in 2 weeks when it happens again. And then just being able to be a part of the first little bit with the baby too, like he played a role in that. We talked to the parents, and since it was a C-section and they weren't allowed in the room, they let my husband hold him and bring the baby over to me to say hello. And then the baby, it was a girl last time. She went off with her parents, and then that's the plan again. Like he's gonna bring the baby over to me to say hi, and then we'll send him off to meet his parents. But him getting to be a part of that is
Yeah.
important to him as a partner too.
Yeah, he gets to play a big role in
It does.
that.
So they won't allow one that, right? Just one person. They won't allow
I'm gonna
one
ask
husband.
again when we
Yeah,
get
they
there and
Yeah.
see, and the parents have been very adamant, like, no, we want your husband there. Because I offered, I said, he's done this 3 times.
Mhm.
He's okay. I'm okay. Like if one of you wants to come in and be the person and watch your baby be born, we couldn't last time because it was COVID, but I said this time I'm more than happy to offer that to you. And they said, no, you are the number one in this, and we want you to have your husband there if you only get one person. But I'm gonna ask when we get there, and if I can finagle two, then I'm gonna invite one of them to
yeah.
watch.
I really think that they should come up with some way because surrogacy is becoming either more talked about or just more common. And so
Mhm.
it's like hospitals are going to have to figure out how to give the parents their right. Like, I don't want to say their right.
But that
How
experience.
to,
You
yeah,
know.
like if us surrogates are comfortable with that, then
Mhm.
yeah, it is their right to be in there because we're saying, yes, it's okay. It's our right to say who's allowed in. It's just, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I was told that they could let us all be together in recovery so that we could, like, I could observe them having their first
Oh,
few
okay.
minutes with their baby and that bonding time. And then we could be as together as possible until we go into our separate rooms a little while later. So that's the plan right now. But like I said, I'm going to try to ask, like, can you please
Yeah.
have one more person? They
Mhm.
said actually one of their biggest concerns, and I thought this was a fair point, one of their biggest concerns in allowing an additional person in the operating room is if something happens to that person, like if they faint, for example, like
Mm,
that's going to take someone away from the team to take care of that person that passed out. So
Gotcha.
I think that's fair.
It is
fair.
fair
That's fair.
because the surgery is on you to extract their baby, but you're
Yeah.
the one who's having the surgery done. So
Yeah.
you're the one who could bleed. You're the one who could go into stress. Like so I get
All the
where
focus needs to be on you.
it does.
Yeah.
And I really think those parents have it right. They do.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we think your husband should be with you. And if you can get that other one in there, good for you. But if not, they seem to be at peace with it. Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, they're taking the baby home, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grace, so
Wow.
hold on, you've had 3 C-sections already?
Hmm.
Wow. How can you do, your clinics? My only
Oh,
question is because you've had 3 C-sections, right? And we always hear that like 3 is the cutoff.
3 prior, I think that's the maximum I've ever heard is 3 prior C-sections.
Okay.
So this would be your fourth and your last. Um, I said that to a surrogate once. I was like, "Oh, I have my uterus has one more delivery left in it because I'll have to have a C-section." And she was like, "No, no, no, let me get you some numbers. I'll find you
That's
an
right.
agency that will take you." And I was like, I don't know if that's the right way
Yeah.
to go."
oh,
Not worth the gamble. Like that's when so many places
Yeah.
say like, no, this is the
Yeah.
cutoff. It's like they're saying it for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even my agency, I brought up that same situation with that surrogate that told me that and asked them, I was like, is this really a thing? And they said, we're not going to say that it's not a thing, but you and the parents would have to sign a lot of paperwork, and I would not want that for you. Like, this is for your safety,
yeah.
you to be healthy coming out of it. Like, it's not a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. No. Oh,
Yeah.
crazy.
It's major surgery. So many people are under the misconception it's not. It is major surgery.
Of
It
course
is.
it is.
And all your little
Question then that will go with the partners for this, right?
mm.
So you both didn't bring home babies after C-section. So what is it? I mean, your children are older, right, Grace?
Yeah, they're teenagers.
Okay, yeah. But like how does the dependency on the partner go after a C-section?
It's high dependency.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Last time, my children were not both teenagers during the last delivery.
Okay.
And my husband, even when we had my son years ago, he took 2 weeks off of work to help me recover. So last surrogacy, he took 2 weeks off of work and
Mhm.
he really didn't want me doing anything, which was very hard for me. I'm very independent and want to do all the things, but he had to
Uh-huh.
like force me to stay in bed. He's like, no, I will make the lunches and take them
Yeah.
to school. I will pick them up from school. I will take our son to his music lessons, like
Mhm.
doing all the things. So I know that he's prepared to do that this time. He's taking 2 weeks off again. And now we have a house with stairs. So I feel like I'll be more confined to our
Yeah.
room because I'm probably not going to be going up and down those stairs.
Yeah.
But he takes me to all my appointments. Like
Oh,
it's high dependency and he definitely delivers in that area.
nice.
That's very good.
That's awesome.
That's it. I'm like you though. I get really weird. Like even with transfer, I'm like I can still do all the things even though they're like no sit down and I'm like but I don't want you to make I can sit in a chair and make the lunches. Like I'll figure it out. Like
Yeah.
it's
Same.
hard even though you have a partner, it's hard to depend on them when you when you do things a certain way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's very yeah, C-section scares me. But what how about you, Mom?
We didn't have the luxury for him to take off work.
Mm.
Um, so I believe he was here the first day I got home because I was in the, I think hospital was like 4 or 5 days back then. I don't know how, I think it's 3 now for a C-section, isn't it? 3 or 4?
Hmm.
Yeah, it was 5 for us. And yeah, so he would go to work and I'd just be in the hospital, because he had the kids, he had you guys to get ready, and he would go off and do his thing. And then the first day I got home, he was here, and then that was it. And so I got you guys all ready. I did it, but that's the way I would have, even if he took the time off. I I would, yeah, I would have done it. I just because it's me. I'm just very, very controlling, and I hate that about me. But yeah, and I will admit, the triplet pregnancy, it took me a little bit longer to recover because I did so much in the beginning. Because there were 3 placentas, it wasn't just one, and so each one of them was trying to stop and clamp, and it was just a lot. And I
A
got,
lot on your body.
yeah, and I got way more tired than I would have if it was just one. So probably a week or two in, I just went, oh yeah, I need to sit. I need to just hang out. And when you guys were at school, I would just take it easy and then I would go pick you up. So that was kind of my routine. But yeah, gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah. I don't know how. I mean, I know how I did it as a single mom. I had you
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
dad. Thank heavens for that. I mean, granted, like I think my last one was the hardest for me, dependency wise.
Uh-huh. I agree.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but again, even though I wasn't with a partner, I had you guys, and thank God I had you in particular
Yeah.
for that journey. Um,
Yeah. That
but yeah.
wasn't fun.
Hmm?
Yeah. Your village has to be, whoever your village is,
Yeah.
has to be supportive of you. It has to know going in that there may be twists and turns to this that is just gonna smack you in the face and go, I wasn't expecting that.
Hmm.
And that's why you pick your village. Like,
Go with the flow.
yeah. And that's who you rely on, and they know it. And I think in Grace's situation, and I think in a lot of surrogate situations, they're in relationships that know what this entails, could
Mhm.
entail,
Hmm.
and hopefully are there for this, for all of it. They
Yeah.
seem to be. The people we talk to, they all seem to be.
Hmm. Becoming a very more talked about
Yeah,
situations
exactly. Yep.
than in the past.
Oh, way more.
I think this episode would be really good for partners who are unsure
Mhm.
about and even if you did a future episode with actually
I
having the partner
think that'd
there,
be
whoever that is, I think it
great,
would be
great.
amazing.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of women who say, "Oh yeah, I've thought about surrogacy, but my husband won't let me, or my
Yes.
husband's not on board, or my
Yeah.
partner's not on board, or I want to wait till I have a partner that I feel would be on board before I do this,
Mhm.
like in the case of a single mom.
Yeah.
And so I think that there are a lot of questions of what could happen, what will happen,
Yeah.
just demystifying the possibilities, and
Mhm.
they come from a lot of different directions. Like I actually when I went for a transfer in November. The transfer didn't stick that time. But in the Uber from the airport to our hotel to go for our transfer, we started talking to the Uber driver, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, he was around our age." He said, "My wife really wants to do that, but I don't want her to do it." And he started naming some of the reasons, and some of the things that he had, like we had never thought of as a married couple, but they're like valid concerns if you don't really know a lot about the process. And I could see how, you need that partner to feel comfortable and strong, but they will have questions too. And just thinking about our journey from the time I approached my husband and said, "Hey, this is something that I want to do," and through all the things we've gone through in surrogacy thus far, like you still don't really know what you don't know, and we've had to
Mhm.
navigate a lot together. And I think it comes down to like not only how your partner feels about the situation, but how your relationship is in general, to how you can navigate things like this together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not all going to be puppies and rainbows. There's stressors in a surrogacy.
In any pregnancy, really.
Yes. And then just add surrogacy as another layer, and then you even get more because they're
Yeah.
being talked to and they're being tested and they're like, why? Nothing's wrong with me. So
Yeah,
yeah, it is a conversation.
it is. Oh my
Yeah, I
gosh.
really like that idea. We need to get some gentlemen or partners in general. If it's
Yeah.
same-sex women, partners in general, just to see how they feel about the whole
I think
process.
that'd be so fun.
I do. I
Yeah.
think that'd be great.
Well, I'm going to keep this in the podcast. So, anybody listening, if
Yeah.
anybody's partners would like to give their take on surrogacy, I would like to know how many would be willing to talk about it.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of fun.
it would be. We
Well,
could even turn it into.
I'm involuntarily signing up my husband just so
Okay. I love it. I,
I'm
I'm
sure
I'm
that he
doing
would
that
be
with my I'll do
just
that
as
with
good.
mine. Even he could just learn. That's what he could do. He could ask all the questions that he could be the
Okay.
questioner because he
Yeah.
has no idea.
Yeah, interesting.
Perfect. Oh my gosh. Well,
Right.
thank
We'll
you
get
so
working on
much,
it.
Grace.
Yes, thank you, Grace. It's always so lovely to have you on. You're
Oh,
just so full of information. I love it.
Thank you for having me
oh
again.
my gosh.
And
All
good
the
luck to you if
time.
we do not speak with you prior to.
I know how. Yes, let us know. Well, obviously you'll let us all know
Yeah.
how your delivery goes, but we hope it goes the way that you
Swiftly.
that
Yes.
you that you hope it goes.
Yes.
I'm sure it will be amazing. Like
Mm.
I've gone to every delivery since my daughter's. Like my last three deliveries, I went with full face of makeup. Two deliveries, yeah,
Oh
last
my
two.
God, bless your heart.
Full
They're
face
so
of makeup because it's like a planned C-section,
yeah.
and they're gonna take your pictures. Like
You're
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yes.
I want to look a certain way, but this time I know I'm gonna cry. I know I'm gonna bawl my eyes out when the baby's born, and I'm like, do
Oh,
I wear bottom lash mascara or not?
Oh my, we're waterproof.
That's
it's
a
so
good one. Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
waterproof.
I don't know why I didn't think of that. But yeah, and then I'm
Mhm.
gonna tell my lash lady, like, can you load up a whole bunch of lashes in there? Because I know I'm gonna cry half of them off in the
Oh my
course of
gosh.
the delivery and the days after. Um, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I can't believe it's here.
I
Oh,
I can't believe it's here. I was
me
like,
neither.
wait, you're almost due? Because like
It's crazy.
I
I mean, I
remembered
remember
last November. I
I remember the
remember the
loss. Like
transfer. Yeah.
we literally were all just like so dumbfounded and shocked and saddened
Yeah.
and now you're delivering like crazy. It's amazing how the world
Crazy.
works.
I do have a goal to get one or both of the dads on the podcast. I know I
That'd be
told
Oh,
awesome.
you.
That'd be
So
so
they'll be
cool.
here
Okay.
through I think they're staying through November 23rd, so that gives us some time to hopefully
Yeah.
yeah.
get together if you have an available evening.
Yes.
Whenever we'll make it available. Yes.
Yes, we
Mhm.
will. Yeah, yeah. You just let us know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Oh
awesome.
my gosh,
Well, I'm very
yay.
excited for you. Very
Yeah,
excited for you.
thank you.
Very
Good
happy
luck.
for you.
Yes.
Very happy.
And
Well,
you look
thank
marvelous. You look very pretty.
I
Oh, thank
know.
you. I feel good today. I'm gonna go get a facial after this.
Good for you.
Better.
Live
Nice.
your life. I'm loving it. Oh my gosh. Well, we will talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grace.
Thanks. Have a good night.
You
Thanks, you
too.
too.
Bye.
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 Oh
So
my
sweet.
gosh.
And she's two. It's crazy.
Isn't that wild how quick that went?
I mean, for us, but for her, who knows? But
No, I
for
know,
us,
but like I
so
feel like we were just having that really heavy
fast.
conversation like
Yes,
last week.
absolutely.
It's so crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so
Really
fun.
happy for her.
Very
For
happy for her.
you, Grace.
Ecstatic.
Yes. Well,
And for
if
the parents to be.
anybody has any questions or stories that they would like to share, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Stop.Sit.Surrogate. We are going to be taking a holiday break. We'll let you all know when that comes, though. It'll be sometime in November.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's been Stop Sit Surrogate with Kennedy and Ellen Friday Facts. Thanks for listening.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.